Dreamtime with Danielle, and that's me. Hi everyone, welcome back to another exciting session of Dreamtime with Danielle. Today I have a guest dream. Yes, a dream from, I almost said a visitor, a dream from a viewer. Him. Leo writes, a dream in two parts. So the first part of the dream goes, he goes to a metaphysical shop, which he visits in real life and is currently doing curbside only. But in the dream, as the shop is still curbside, but he's in an alternate version of the shop. It's an empty office now, and the door is propped open. So he goes inside to have a nice little chit-chat. But the guy working is ready to go. So he goes outside to wait for him so they can close up together. And the guy says he can't find the key. So he sees it taped to the ground and goes, oh, well, here's the key, and picks it up. He fits it into the lock of the door and it moves, it turns, it's the correct key. And the guy working is like, oh, I was just gonna leave it. And the dreamer is flabbergasted, like, what? You were just gonna leave it unlocked? And he's got the key working. When he turns it one way, it's turning. When he tries to turn it the other way, it stops. So he finds that fiddling with the key is making it work. And he's like, you can lock up this shop now. And the guy who works at the shop is like, nah, I was just gonna leave it. Okay, then part two of the dream, a return to that same metaphysical shop. The door is once again open, and when he goes in, near the window display, there's this big grassy area to the left of the door. So now he's in the shop, and his sister comes in, and they're hanging out in this grassy area, and his sister is like, you know what? Whenever you're around, things get better. His sister comes in and says, sometimes something isn't working, but then you come around and fix it or make things better. Sentimental, thanks his sister, it's a beautiful thing. Then his sister says, it's probably because there's a snake here. And he looks around and he says, oh, yeah. And like he sees it, a little pink tail. In fact, it kind of looks like a worm and it goes into the wall. So now in the dream, he's confused. Is it a snake? Is it a worm? But then his sister confirms, like, that is a snake. And he looks over to that grassy area and there is a big snake. This is the tone he used. Big snake. And it is wrapped around the entire grassy area twice. That's how big it is. Coiled up. But it's really relaxed and chill. And he feels open and allowed to be in this presence of the snake. He says he felt amazed and welcome, and it was beautiful. That's where I would close the book and say, and that's the dream. So let's get to it. Thanks for sending in your dream, Leo. So the first thing we have is the metaphysical shop. If you're not familiar, a metaphysical shop is essentially a sacred space for multiple different spiritualities to exist at the same time. It houses all kinds of spiritual tools, including but not limited to cards, stones, calendars, books, statues of deities, paintings of deities, books about deities, how to worship this deity, who do you want to work with, singing bowls, jewelry, generally of the metaphysical kind. So think crystals, as well as traditionally magic tools such as wands or rune stones, carvings, incense, things we can imagine, things we cannot imagine. Metaphysical shop. So, welcome to the metaphysical shop. So the door is propped open, the dude working is inside, and this is him. This is Leo. Yes, he does have flowing curly hair, like a lion, and it is majestic. So, metaphysical shop. We're going to break that down to mean sacred space. So, he's in a sacred space, and the person working there has the door propped open. This stands out because currently we are still in the pandemic COVID-19 time, so doors would not be open propped like this. So in the first part of the dream, it's empty like an office inside. So emptiness where there's traditionally business would imply a slowing down of business. Perhaps the space is moving. It could also mean whatever was once inside is now being replaced. But there's a vacancy, essentially. The space is open. This space is open and there's a vacancy. Not that it has the sign for vacancy, but remember, we are everything in the dream. So he is himself, he is the metaphysical shop, he is the shopkeeper. And the shopkeeper is ready to leave, which is also why I say vacancy, because when he enters the dream, the person working in the shop is like, I'm out, bye. So he's waiting on the curb for the shopkeep to come out so they can chit-chat. They're friendly. It's a dream, so this is an aspect of him working in the metaphysical shop. This is a multi-leveled symbol because our dreamer himself has worked in metaphysical shops in the past. It's where we met. So a metaphysical shop is where people go to buy their wares for their spiritual needs. This is where he's coming to meet his spiritual needs. The place is closing for the day. Although it's questionable, is it closing? Because when he first enters, it's like an empty office space. So there's confusion and doubt about what's happening here. What's happening in my spiritual realm? A good question to ask yourself. A good question for all of us to ask ourselves. What is happening in our spiritual realms? Here, I'm pointing to my heart, baby, my heart. The next thing that happens is the guy is like, I can't find the key. But our dreamer sees the key, it's on the floor. It will be. Just give me a moment. The key! Okay, it was clearly not this big, but it's a dream. I drew it bigger. I also drew it here. He finds it on the floor. And he mentions it's taped. That implies that it's taped. So if it's taped down, let's question, what could that mean? One, someone had to tape it down. So it was a choice by someone that this dream got taped there. Two, what is tape? It's sticky. That's the entire purpose of it. And three, it's on the ground. It's right in front of his face. So he has access to this key whenever he so chooses. So our dreamer picks up the key, shares what he's found. Hello, I have found the key. Puts it in the door. There it is. The key is now in the keyhole. So here he's saying, hello, I have found the solution, your key. It fits. You can lock this up properly. But the person running the shop, the person in charge of this sacred space, the person who is supposed to be the guardian is like, I was just going to leave it unlocked. This to me talks about conflict. We all have so much conflict inside of ourselves about little things, about big things. And in this case, the conflict is about closing up this space properly, keeping it safe, protecting it, versus leaving the door propped open because anyone can come in. Anyone could vandalize the place or steal from it. It could be desecrated. This is usually why there's a guardian when it comes to sacred spaces, to watch over it. But the shopkeep is very flippant. It'll be fine. Whereas the dreamer is like, you should definitely take care of this space. So we all have a variety of that personality within us. Taking care of things properly versus flippantly deciding they'll take care of themselves. Remember, if it's your dream, you are everything. You are yourself, you are other people, you are the items. So that's part one. Keys. A key doesn't even have to be a literal key, but in this dream, it is. A key opens up. It is the one component that connects. How do I describe what I'm trying to say? We all know what a key is. We know that it's an item generally made of metal. Maybe not always, but generally made of metal. You slide it into a lock and it will unlock a secret or a door or a chest or a diary. But the job of a key is to be the mechanism that opens something, or locks it up, protects it, keeps it safe. So the item that is meant to either open or close to keep safe or open up is taped to the street. To the street. To the street outside the shop. It could be the sidewalk. Did I get street or sidewalk here? Hold up. Hold up. It says the ground. It's just taped to the ground. But let's come back to that. Taped to the ground, right? Because then in part 2, let's change up the scene a little bit, shall we? Just gonna let that dry and take a quick nap. Still drying. Is good enough. Okay. Part 2. Back to the metaphysical shop. But now we're on the inside. Grassy area. Symbolism of grass. So grass symbolism. It's green, it flourishes, it's bouncy. We can play on it. Some animals eat it. Green grass. Now, this depends on the context. Technically, this grass is out of place. It's inside of a shop. This is not impossible, but it is unusual. You don't expect to find grass inside of an establishment. So let's discuss the color green. Green, the color of your heart chakra. It's the color of plant life. It's the color of trees, grass, plants. It is life. It is health and wealth as well. So green grass is implying health, wealth, vibrant life. It's also a source of connection because everyone interacts with grass in some way. Whether it's the human walking by, the child running on it, the squirrel dashing through it, the earthworm burrowing down, the robin chasing the earthworm. Animal, human, the wind makes the grass dance back and forth. Grass interacts with everything, it seems. So this seems like a very friendly, playful, and healthy aspect of the dreamer. Okay, now his sister enters the shop and delivers love. She's like, you know what? She's like, his sister says, you know what? Sometimes some things are weird or tough or difficult, but then you come along, you make them better. You fix things. Earlier in the dream, he fixed the lock, the broken lock. He fixed it by trying. So, finding solutions. That was a part for the first part. Finding solutions, being admired for his skills, and having love reflected back at him, especially by his own family member. Remember, while on top of us always being everyone in our dreams, that means we embody their qualities. So ask yourself, what is your sister like? Well, ask yourself, what is my sister like? What are qualities in her that I also see in me? That's what's coming. That's one way to interpret this. Another way is this is about family. This is interconnected. So we get gratitude, and then his sister's like, probably because there's a snake around. So now, snake symbolism. Let's go! Snakes. Snakes hold a lot of different symbolism all over the world. But one thing they all share in common is this life force energy. Life force energy. The snake is essentially a living stomach. It devours. It has a huge appetite, right? And it can consume vast amounts. You're in a metaphysical shop where we may consume vast amounts of knowledge, social time, wisdom, where we can purchase many goods. So when first he looks for the snake, he sees like a little worm. Worms are significant because they build tunnels. They create paths. They're literally groundbreakers. You're a groundbreaking, Leo. So first he sees a little pink tail, little worm, and it goes into the wall. Walls are blockages. But his sister's like, no, that snake. It's funny, I thought making the snake in another color would make it stand out more, but I was wrong. So here we go. Huge snake. A snake so big that it can wrap itself around the entire grassy area twice. Snakes, they are primal. They are connected to the earth, for they crawl on their bellies. If you've ever heard of Kundalini energy, this is the life force energy that rises from the root where your legs connect all the way up your spine to the crown so that all your energy is activated. Here we have a resting snake. This one's just chilling. He doesn't feel threatened. He feels amazed and he feels welcome in the space. So here we go. Your passionate energy, my friend, your passions themselves, your appetites, your desires, all of this exists within the snake. But snakes also embody medicine and healing. You're in a metaphysical shop. Some snakes are venomous, and humans take the venom of snakes and go, ha ha, I can make elixirs out of this and create medicine from them. That's amazing. And speaks of the transformational qualities of all things that exist. All things that exist can be transformed. Snakes also deal with duality because you have the struggle of good versus evil. Does this mean that you are good or evil? We all have the capacity to take actions that we either deem good or evil. Will we take them? Will we not? It's up to us every single time. Snakes are also about fertility. So this is about your ability to create. And judging by the vast size of this snake, you have vast amounts of creation energy just resting inside of you, ready to wake up when you're ready to play with the snake. That doesn't sound great. Some people see the snake as the umbilical cord that ties humanity to the earth because she is an earth crawler. The snake also represents medicine as you see it on the staff of Asclepius. The Grecian, yeah, I think he's Greek. The medical staff. You see a staff with one snake wrapped around it, and that's the symbol of medicine, healing, and doctors. So it's sleeping in the grass inside of a metaphysical shop. Let's look at this literally. You're in a sacred space. You're with a sacred family member, and it's through her perspective that you see this huge snake. When he himself looks, all he sees is a little worm. I only have little appetites, perhaps, or I have many paths to build. This could be true. But in fact, it's a massive snake that can wrap twice. You have twice as much life force as you think, twice as much potential, twice as much appetite, twice as much desire, twice as much healing ability, twice as much of everything. You can feel how welcoming it is. It's inviting you. This can sound dangerous because in the waking realm, we don't want to go playing with snakes. They are predators. However, they are powerful creatures. They are incredible beings. And in dreams, they have strong messages for you. Pure muscle, all strength, waiting to be woken up by the dreamer. Look up the sleeping serpent and you will find that it is asking you to activate all of your power and potential and use it. Think of the key that you find on the ground at the beginning. It's right there in front of you and it's in place. It's not going to get blown away or knocked over. This key has been taped down so that when you're ready to pick it up, you'll find it and you will use it. But it will always be your choice. And the sleeping serpent is also your choice. How to go about it, how to activate it. The serpent is also linked to our root chakras. That is the base of your spine. The root chakra deals with our physical bodies, our physical beings, the blood, the bones, everything that houses the temple. So one great way to activate your root chakra is actually through exercise, because you're physically using your body. Using your body in any way to make it stronger is an excellent way to nurture and care for your root chakra and for your sleeping serpent. And of course, for your body. Give it the TLC that it needs. This is our metaphysical shop. Now, whoever's running the cashier, I couldn't tell you. But it's an aspect of you. Who's running that metaphysical shop? That's a question for you to answer. Maybe you don't have an answer. Maybe you can make up a guardian to watch over your shop. It's something that can do wonders for the psyche, because that's where all of the dreams happen. In here. You think I'm pointing to my brain, but I'm actually pointing to my third eye, the pineal gland, which governs dreams. And of course, there was symbolism with doors and windows, doors and windows. Windows you can see inside and outside. Doors physically open for you to enter or to close out things, or to be closed out of. Wow, this dream was ripe with symbolism. Thank you so much, Leo, for sending in your dream. I hope that helps. Remember, you are the dreamer. Ultimately, the dream will have special meaning for you. But I hope you enjoyed some of the light I shed on these symbols. If you guys would like to send me your dream, information is down below, and we'll have a lovely time. Thank you for joining me for another session of Dreamtime with Danielle. Yeah.